And we begin in Ukraine, where people on the eastern part of the country are bracing for the strongest attack from Russian forces yet. Over the last week, those forces retreated out of those parts of Ukraine to rest and also restock. And now, under the leadership of a new commander, they are preparing to go back in for a major assault. Already there is movement. Right now, a military convoy that is 8 miles long is headed toward the Donbass region with what Ukraine's president is calling a colossal amount of weapons on board. And intelligence revealing this attack is so major, officials are telling everyone in eastern Ukraine this is their last chance to get out, just as many are getting a first look at the destruction.
1, 3, 3.
Digging through the rubble for any signs of life. Russia's retreat revealing even more atrocities. Like in Mariupol, a city ravaged in the early days of the war and disconnected now from the world for weeks. Today, the city's mayor describes the horrors. Corpses carpeted through the streets. At least 10,000 deaths in all. But the mourning period is short. Ukraine's president warning a wide-stretching assault is next, a crucial phase of the war. As Russia rests and restocks, President Zelenskyy makes some of his most emotional pleas yet, saying in order to stand a chance, he needs help from the West and high-powered weapons.
President Biden says he is outraged by Bucha. NATO leaders say they are outraged by Bucha. So what should they do now? Weapons, number one. They need to be very serious about it. They definitely understand what I'm talking about right now. They have to supply weapons to Ukraine as if they were defending themselves and their own people.
On the ground, more and more Ukrainians are returning home, with some of the most dangerous times still ahead. Vowing to stay, fight, and rebuild.
The resilience incredible. Brian Clark, a senior fellow with the Hudson Institute, is an expert in naval operations and electronic warfare, joining us as a guest tonight. Brian, always good to see you. First, I want to start with President Zelenskyy's desperate plea yet again to the West for more support, more help, more high-powered weapons. Will he get what he's asking for?
Well, Marnie, I think he's going to get some of what he asks for. What he's looking for, actually, is to get beyond just the Stinger missiles and the Javelin anti-tank weapons and similar weapons they've been getting from the West thus far. They're looking for anti-air systems, so systems like the S-300 or the Patriot, would be the U.S. version of that, to be able to defend against the cruise missiles that the Russians have been sending against Ukrainian targets. He's also looking for, maybe some armored vehicle type capabilities so that they'd be able to fight on the open plains that exist in the east of Ukraine, which are very different than the terrain that we saw up in the north by Kyiv. So as they move into this new part of the war, they're going to need to be able to fight the Russians a little bit more symmetrically rather than relying on ambush tactics as they used up around Kyiv. It's going to be a very different fight than what they've had thus far.
Let's talk about this new fight, the next assault, the battle for the Donbass region. We are hearing it is going to be the worst that we've seen, the bloodiest. What are your sources telling you in terms of the timing, when we should expect this to happen?
So we should expect the offensive to start within the next week. So within the next several days, we'll start to see the first skirmishes of it. And then within a week, we're going to see a much larger assault happen in the eastern region, in Luhansk and to the north, and then to Donetsk in the south. And that's because you've already got Russian forces that have been fighting in this region. They've been fighting there since about 2014. So this is not a new theater for them. They're going to be bringing in more regular troops as opposed to the paramilitaries they've used thus far. So it's going to intensify. And then you've also got these forces coming from the north that have been recently fighting in Kharkiv and that are coming in that have been rearmed and resupplied after fighting around Kyiv. So you're going to see all these forces now concentrate on the eastern part of Ukraine, where the Russians really have a lot of familiarity, but now they're going to bring in the hard, heavy power that they haven't brought thus far.
So how bad could it be? Is it anything comparable to what we've seen in any of the other towns, Mariupol, in Bucha?
I think you could see a level of destruction on par with what we've seen in Mariupol and Bucha, because you have the Russians being able to use these heavy armored forces, concentrate them on a much smaller region than they have thus far, and then couple those with these air attacks. So using cruise missiles, both from Russian airspace and then from ground launch systems in the Crimea or over in the Western Military District of Russia itself. So they're going to be able to bring a lot of firepower simultaneously on a small region. So you'd expect to see the destruction on par with what we've experienced in Mariupol.
Brian, we had heard the early call for people who wanted to leave and escape that region to do so. Is it too late at this point for them to get out safely?
No, there is still opportunity to evacuate folks that want to get out of the region. They're going to have to move into central Ukraine and then make their way to the west slowly. It's going to be challenging, but still possible. I think we've even seen Mariupol. People have been still able to get out of Mariupol, even though it's essentially closed off except for a very small corridor. So there's still an opportunity to evacuate, but that window is closing. And I'd say, like, as I said, within a few days to a week, you're going to see the assault start.
Mm-hmm. What about the supply lines? Are you at all concerned in the West at how they're getting some of the equipment in, that will continue to be a target, and how they're preparing?
It'll continue to be a target for Russian airstrikes, but those are pretty limited because they are attacking all the way across the country to try to take out these depots in Western Ukraine. So I think that the supply lines will be okay getting into Ukraine. The challenge will be getting supplies all the way to the eastern part of Ukraine. So getting to Kyiv from the Polish border is not too difficult, but getting all the way to Luhansk or Donetsk from Poland is going to be much more challenging. And there's many opportunities for the Russians to interdict those supply lines. So I'd say that that's part of what President Zelenskyy is getting at, is if he doesn't get these weapons soon, it's going to be very difficult to get him into the region once the fighting starts.
Yeah, fearful that it may be too late. I did want to ask you about the installation of this new Russian general, I guess new but old, so to speak. He's leading the Russian forces. He's known as the Butcher of Syria. How will this change things?
Certainly it indicates the Russians' willingness to ramp up the terror part of their attacks and go after the civilian population to a much greater degree than even they've done up to this point. So I'd say that that's an indication of the Russians' tactics changing to maybe attack the civilian population even more than the military forces. I think it's also useful because from their perspective, command and control has been a big problem for the operation thus far. They've had inability to coordinate activities, and so I think they're looking to try to restore a hierarchical structure for the operation so that they can maybe get better control of their forces. We'll see if that actually plays out in practice, but I think those are the two things they're trying to do with this change.
And we'll be talking more about that general later in the show and his capabilities given his history. Brian Clark, always appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Barney.
Since the start of the war, more than 4 million Ukrainians have escaped, leaving their lives, and for some of them, their loved ones behind. But now, nearly 7 weeks later, and into this conflict, we are starting to see more and more people returning to their homes, to their communities, to see what is left. And many of those people say this time they are not going anywhere. They won't leave. We've been speaking with Maria Shuvalova since the night of the Russian invasion. She fled Kyiv, and just one day ago, she decided to return. And Maria joins us as our guest tonight yet again. Maria, always good to talk to you. Most of our conversations, you have been hiding out in a dark bunker. It is nice to see your face. You've got electricity around you. That's a good place for us to start tonight. You chose to go back. Why?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Actually, right now, I'm hiding in my bathroom because 24 minutes it was air raid and sirens, so it's still slightly interesting to stay here, but I definitely glad to be home. Mainly, we decided to get back because of our parents. They were really willing to get back to work, and they are unable to work remotely. So since today, they went to their work and started renewing their business and paid salaries. So the main reason was to pay salaries for all other people because they were not able to do it remotely.
Tell me what has changed since you left your home. Driving back in, it must look and feel different. What did you see?
Yeah, that indeed was terrible. Mainly because while I were in a car, I was translating a video. That was a series of interviews where forensics were working with body found in Bucha and Irpin and Hostomel. So I saw so much dead bodies, burned bodies of Ukrainians, and I were passing by these places. So I think it was extremely hard, and city is extremely different. I remember when I was in New York, in Manhattan, during the harshest lockdown, when there was a high rate of deaths because of COVID, and the city was empty and very apocalyptic. And again, I having this feeling in Kiev. It's pretty empty, pretty apocalyptic, a lot of tanks, a lot of hedgehogs, and a lot of blog posts. But people are very polite, and you can feel that city is grieving. A lot of places are still closed, but our neighborhood is pretty good. My neighbors were patrolling our apartment building, patrolling the district. So you can feel that people were carrying on their cities, but still the mood is pretty sad here.
And you said you were in your bathroom and air raid just minutes ago. What are the other precautions that you can share that you're taking now that you have chosen to go back and stand this out?
So all the time I am reading instructions from our government. So my windows are scotch taped, and I do not turn on light in bathroom. I just shuttered all my window in bathroom, so no one outside can see that I turn on the light, and no light in other rooms. Also, it's a good idea to stay far from the windows, and there is 2 walls rules that you have to find in your apartment place where you are among 2 walls, and it is the safest place in your room. And also you might go to the main hall and stay near elevators, and you should avoid being on 6th and 7th, 8th floors because they are dangerous. They might be attacked from the sky. And also you should avoid being on the lower floors of apartment building, because if there are street fightings, these floors also will be damaged. So I am on the floor number 5, so it's pretty okay. I won't suffer from street fightings, and also it's pretty safe because this floor has lower probability to be attacked from the air.
Maria, you mentioned seeing the dead bodies in the streets as you return to Kyiv. That is something that you cannot unsee. We are seeing and hearing about the mounting casualties of this war. Do you have anyone that you're close to that you have lost who has been injured?
Yes, it's friends of my friends and just my acquaintances. And I'm worrying more and more because my brother is going to east of the country. So, and brother of my husband is also relocating from Kyiv, and they are going to the east. So the war is not over, and our loved ones are still in huge danger.
7 weeks
and
in.
Also that,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and also a few hours ago, we was notified that probably chemical weapon might be used in Mariupol because Azov regiment's soldiers reported that. So we, again, reading all these instructions how to act during chemical attack and really worrying about people who are on the east of the country.
Maria, the emotional and physical conflict that this has had on you must be taking a toll. You're always positive and optimistic. How are you holding up?
Trying to stay positive and optimistic, because if you're helping other people, you're helping yourself. So trying to support people I love, trying to make their mood better, keep me busy. And high spirit is very important for my productivity. I really want to keep working, keep volunteering, keep earning money. And I think it's small things, but they are important to move forward despite everything. So that's my main task. I percept my optimism as my main task, and I'm doing okay.
Well, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. You've been our eyes and ears, and it's good that you're safe now, and we'll stay in touch, Maria. Always good to talk to you. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.